Until you see it in real life, you just can't imagine.
It's been 3 years since an earthquake rocked Haiti. 3 years of rebuilding structures and lives.
I'm Scott Mason near Port-au-Prince, traveling with North Carolinians who are changing lives here in Haiti.
The tragedy gripped hearts across the world. See what your Tar Heel neighbors are doing to make a difference. WRAL News, return to Haiti, starting Monday at 5:55.
Haiti suffered a devastating earthquake that killed more than 200,000 people, including a man from Roanoke Rapids.
His wife just returned to Haiti, and so has our Tar Heel traveler. Scott Mason is near Port-au-Prince with her story and a tribute to a man who dedicated his life to serving others.
3 years ago, a man from Roanoke Rapids died here in Haiti. Now his widow has come to Haiti to help rebuild what the earthquake took away.
He could step off a plane in any part of the world and he just felt comfortable.
Sam Dixon used to tell people he was just a country preacher, but he was more than that.
The head of UMCOR, the United Methodist Committee on Relief.
He traveled the world helping the poor.
In January, had flown down to Port-au-Prince.
On January 12th, he was meeting with colleagues at the Montana Hotel in Haiti.
And he said, "I wish you could see the mountains today, Cindy. They're so beautiful."
Then came the earthquake. The hotel collapsed, and there was no word from Sam. So what did you think as the hours passed?
I thought, he's somewhere where he cannot get to a phone, and Sam Dixon will get in touch with me as soon as he can.
2 days passed.
We heard word that they'd found him.
And Sam was alive.
They'd been in a very small area for 55 hours. The concrete, or the rubble as they called it, had fallen across their legs and they were unable to move. So the French rescue team worked on them trying to free them. And as the French doctor told me later, at one point, the pain was so incredible that he anesthetized Sam, and he felt like Sam died of a heart attack. Well, we'd heard they'd found him, they were alive, we were joyous, we were hopeful. We all felt like he could get through anything. So then the world just came kind of tumbling down.
What has brought you to Haiti now?
I wanted to come back. I wanted to go to the Montana to see where it happened.
Une personne qui est un vis-à-vis.
Cindy has come to a memorial service at the Montana. It is the 3rd anniversary of the earthquake.
And one time Sam said to me, you know, we all have questions and we think, well, when we get to heaven, we're going to ask him this list of things. And he said, Cindy, when you get there, it just won't matter. It'll be so beautiful, it will not matter. Sam helped me to see that no matter the color of your skin, we are all so much more alike than not. A smile translates anywhere in the world. We all hurt the same way. I think that pretty much says it all.
Sam Dixon was 60 years old when he died. Cindy Dixon says she's grateful to her 4 children and the people of Roanoke Rapids who have comforted her. All this week, we returned to Haiti with inspirational stories of North Carolinians and the work they are doing there. Our Return to Haiti special continues again tomorrow with the story of a remarkable woman from Johnston County and her return to Haiti again and again. And you can find those stories each day after they air on WRAL.com. Just search Haiti. Three years ago this month, a powerful earthquake rocked the island of Haiti, and ever since, people from North Carolina have been helping rebuild.
Our Tar Heel travelers recently spent a week near Port-au-Prince. Tonight, Scott Mason has the story of a remarkable woman from Johnston County and her return to Haiti again and again.
There is a woman from Clayton who in 26 years has traveled to Haiti 58 times and who is here now at 82 years old. The flight into Haiti from Raleigh. Haiti, where streets are crowded and dusty, where women prop bundles on their heads or lead donkeys with loads on their backs. and where children gather around a flagpole at the start of the day and wait the arrival of a woman they call Mummy. Mummy Helen Little of Clayton.
Every time they're happy to see me. I'm grandmommy to them.
Grandmummy is on her way, and as she peers out the window, she sees not poverty, but hope. Hope in all those little faces at the Ryan Epps Home for Children near Port-au-Prince. None of this was here 2 years ago, but Helen and her church and others raised money and built it.
I knew I was in a place where God wanted me to be to do work.
Were you discouraged at all by how much needed to be done?
You don't be discouraged, you just wish you could do more. If you look in those children's faces, you know that a difference has been made.
The children Helen is once again coming to visit.
Oh yes, those children just give you so much love.
Love despite the pain.
Every one of them comes with a story.
Jeffy and Dianethia, their mother died last year, and now they live at the home.
And they got things to play with and they can go to school. Those things that a child needs.
Did any of the children lose parents in the earthquake?
Yes, Orlane. And so Orlane is a member of this family.
And this too is Helen's family. And here she comes, Mummy Helen. Mummy Helen is home.
Oh, it's so good to see you again. Yes.
This is where she belongs.
So good to see you.
It is her 58th trip to Haiti.
What do these children have now that they didn't have before?
They've got hope that it will get better. Life is much better than it used to be. These are my children. I know I'm where I should be.
Helen Little plans to travel to Haiti again in April for her 59th time. Our Return to Haiti series continues tomorrow. Scott Mason meets up with mission teams from the Triangle to see their incredible work helping families still recovering from the earthquake. And you can watch our Return to Haiti stories each day after they air. Just go to WRAL.com and search Haiti. North Carolina and Haiti, different worlds bridged by a local group on a mission to help that country recover.
Our Tar Heel traveler returned with them. And tonight, Scott Mason is in Port-au-Prince, which is still grappling with the effects of an earthquake that badly damaged Haiti 3 years ago this month.
People in North Carolina have left their homes to work in one of the poorest places in the world. But in Haiti, what may seem hopeless is in fact just the opposite. What are your impressions of Haiti today?
Today is a very busy day, to say the least. And that's been one of the beauties of having come early and come on a regular basis. You can see the transformation that's taken place.
The transformation in the 3 years since the earthquake.
And then slowly you began to hear cries from the village around us, and you started seeing dust rise up into the air.
Al is from Clayton and was on a mission trip in Haiti when the earthquake happened.
As soon as the earthquake stopped, I thought, nothing's ever going to be the same. It's going to change me, it's going to change this country.
But the fact that God led them to be alive, most of them give their life to Jesus right now.
Yvonne lost friends in the earthquake.
A lot of buildings being collapsed, people die. So it was terrible.
It is hard to take the image of what we see here and feel here back home.
Butch is a retired Methodist pastor from Johnston County who routinely leads mission groups to Haiti. Do Haitians have much faith?
Oh, you better believe they do, brother, or else they would not be as far along as they are now.
There's a lot of investment coming into the country now. Businesses going in, hotels going up.
You see people selling their goods, walking down the streets with their goods on their heads, and that is all good.
From what I saw before, back in the days, compared to now, I think there's a big improvement. Things getting better.
Better, but there are people still living in tents. And then there are the children. This baby, for example, she is badly malnourished. Helena is 5 months old and weighs just 6 pounds. Her parents don't have enough money to feed all their children, and they hope the mission team can help.
And each person we help, that's one more person that's been helped. And on this trip, there will be a number of people that we will be able to help.
You work in a small area, you don't try to fix the whole problem, and it all just grows over time.
What's the future for Haiti?
To me, I think that there's a future for Haiti.
When I come to Haiti, I know God is working within me. I think things are looking better every day, but we need to keep coming.
The mission team has supplied the 5-month-old baby girl mentioned in our story with enough formula to last several months, and her condition continues to improve. Tomorrow night, Scott Mason introduces us to other children and some of the medical challenges they face. And you can watch our Return to Haiti stories each day after they air. Just go to WRAL.com and search Haiti. Poverty affects even the innocent, and tonight our Tar Heel traveler follows a North Carolina group that has returned to Haiti.
Scott Mason takes us to an orphanage near Port-au-Prince.
In Haiti, there are two forms of poverty: the poverty you can see and the poverty you can't, except under examination.
Oh my, look at those fancy teeth you have.
It's clinic day.
Let's see what it says.
Hearts checked, heads checked.
How you doing, buddy?
Eyes checked. Forms checked.
Monsieur Français.
These youngsters are well-fed, well-dressed. They seem well.
Look at me.
But even adorable children, many of them orphans at a nice home in Haiti, are not free from the parasites of Haiti.
But we'll be treating all the children here today for worms.
Worms.
And the worms is a big deal because it affects their nutrition, it affects their health.
Pervasive and everywhere. It's in the soil, it's in the water.
And worms are likely in some of these children.
That's almost a bigger deal to us than it is to them. They live with it, they're used to it.
They don't show the effects of something like we would at home.
But they'll say to you, manque d'appétit. I'm lacking an appetite. I can't eat. And it's because, you know, the worms are eating the food.
Valerie and Al have once again traveled to Haiti from their home in Johnston County.
We each have been here 37 times.
They come in large part because of the children.
I get a lot of love.
And that love has spread to Val and Al's own children.
The joy of the Lord.
Their daughter Michelle works in the clinic when she travels to Haiti from Greenville.
This is my 22nd trip, and as soon as I stepped off that plane, I knew that this was home and it's just where I want to be.
But the conditions can at times be alarming.
We were doing a medical clinic and there was an adult, and she had a worm coming out of her skin. And I could see the worm coming out.
And a simple little pill gets rid of it.
The children chew the pills and learn to brush teeth and wash hands, and life goes on in Haiti.
We're seeing more and more children be educated.
Yes.
And Val and Al will return again.
If the Lord allows, we'll come every year, several times a year.
He said come, and he's not said stop.
That's
so.
Right.
Wow. The clinic took place at an orphanage called the Ryan Epps Home for Children. You can learn more about it at WRAL.com. Tomorrow night, Scott Mason will show us how North Carolinians and Haitians work together to raise a building from the rubble, which in some ways symbolizes Haiti's hope for the future. And on Saturday night at 7, watch On the Record. Scott Mason and photographer Chad Flowers will sit down with David Crabtree to talk about their experience in Haiti.
Our Tar Heel traveler is back from Haiti. 3 years ago this month, an earthquake left millions of Haitians homeless.
And as Scott Mason explains now, there is hope, this time symbolized by a concrete building rising from the rubble.
An orphanage, a school, and now a community center. North Carolinians, together with Haitians, are building one building at a time, one bucket at a time. It's an assembly line, an organized system. Water, rock, shovel, muscle.
Very hard work.
One hand to another, bucket by bucket. It's not easy turning mud into concrete.
Help them to better their life of something they've never had before. Although they seem to know how to do things a lot better than we do.
Under a blazing sun, surrounded by mountains, Haitians and Americans build a community center.
It's going to be a trade school, a clinic, a church, a place for the community to gather.
It's part of the Ryan Epps Home for Children. 2 years ago, teams built one building and then another, and this now is the third building in line.
Go ahead.
And the assembly line moves, flows.
The Haitian workers are paid, they make money.
And now it's moving along at a much greater pace.
I think it's a good thing, and things coming along together.
Within these block walls is perhaps a window into Haiti. There's much to be done, tough, gritty work. But the foundation is in place.
I mean, it goes back to, passing it on to others, and that one person can absolutely make a difference, and we're really all just the same.
It's inside. You know, the people are so genuine here. The Haitian people are just wonderful.
And there are Haitian people who are hopeful.
Oh, I am. And we all are.
They are, because out of the rubble of the earthquake, with compassion pouring in, Haiti has hardened its resolve and grown stronger.
I feel like I should be screaming from the rooftops what a great country Haiti is and what awesome progress they're making and how inventive and hardworking and loving the Haitian people are.
Oh, great pictures. And tomorrow night, Scott and photographer Chad Flowers will join me to share their experience in Haiti. They'll join me for On the Record that airs at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Their stories include the account of a man who spent more than 2 days trapped under concrete after the quake in Haiti 3 years ago.